To do that. Congressman Adams, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. How are you, Tim?
I am doing as well as can be expected, I guess. And I should ask you the same question. You are in the midst of this in Washington, D.C. Tell us about the situation that you've been through.
Well, it's very tense, and I will say I'm not an emotional person, but this is a very emotional moment. This should have been a very sacred time for us to go in and do what we needed to do, and to be disrupted in the way that this process has is a terrible, terrible thing. But I'm safe, and I don't know how else to. And I'm embarrassed, really. I'm embarrassed for our country, and I just think the president ought to be ashamed of himself.
Were you anywhere near, were you ever inside the Capitol building when any of this was going on?
I was in the Capitol earlier, and I was diverted from the Capitol because right as soon as I got there, you know, we had specific times that we could actually go in and observe, and just as it was my time, a few minutes before my time to go into the building, we were trying to get in the building. They actually put the building on lockdown because protesters had stormed the barricades and had knocked the barricades down, climbed the wall, and so I just came back on the other side to another office building and tried to watch the proceedings from the TV screens. So I didn't go back. I was waiting to go back for the vote, and of course we didn't get that far, as you can see, and it's just a horrible, horrible day for our democracy.
I mean, I can't put this any more bluntly. Has it been scary?
Absolutely. You know, because we get these warnings, and this was my first time seeing them like that. Coming on your computer, and then the buzzers in your office going off, and so forth. And so yeah, it was very scary, especially when I hear that there are weapons out here, and then the police, our Capitol Police, had weapons drawn inside the chamber. This is supposed to be a sacred hall of Congress and of the U.S. House. And, you know, for me, it's a very emotional moment. Now, I knew, or we had heard, that there was going to be some objection to the elections. And, of course, we expected that, but we certainly did not expect this.
Congresswoman, do you think that the President of the United States could do something at this point to stop this?
Oh, I think he can do something, and I am convinced that he should do something. He has created a disruptive nation here. He's edged these folks on. He continues to do it, and as I said before, he ought to be ashamed of himself. It is, to me, it is a gross violation on the rights of our communities across this country, and he ought to be ashamed of himself.
Do you think that?
But I'll bet you he's bunkered down somewhere. Trying to protect himself.
Well, we know that the Vice President was whisked away and has been into an area as well. I don't know if you've been able to see, but in fact, I'm seeing an image right now of a protester literally hanging from the balcony in the Senate chamber, and guns drawn in the House chamber. Have you been able to see some of those images? And from your perspective of being someone that is in that chamber often, what goes through your mind when you see those images? Because it's mind-boggling for me. I can only imagine for you.
Well, it's first of all, it's scary. It's frightening to even think that people would come in and disrupt their. This is the people's house. This is the people's house, and it's not a house that you should come to and disrespect and disrupt. This is where we make laws on behalf of the people of these United States. We're sworn to do that. That is our responsibility as members of the U.S. Congress. And so, it was horrible for me to see the police drawing guns and with the doors of the chamber closed. It's not a good image. It's mind-boggling. I just tell you, I'm upset about it, quite frankly.
What's your understanding of how the rest of the day is going to go here? I mean, are y'all locked down until it's deemed safe?
We are locked down until it is deemed safe. Right now, it is not safe, and shots have been fired and all those kinds of things. So, we have been told to shelter in place, and that's exactly what we're doing until we get further notice.
Do you think more could have been done to prevent people from storming the U.S. Capitol of the United States ahead of time? I mean, I don't think anybody expected that something to this level would occur, but it was not. I don't think it was totally unpredictable that there could be some clashes with police, et cetera. Do you think enough was done ahead of time?
Well, I don't think the president did enough. I mean, he continued to edge people on. He continued to call for this unrest. He continued to give those negative directives. I mean, he's continued to do that. So he could have done more to prohibit this, but he did not. In fact, what he did was to encourage people, and he's still doing it. Watch his tweets. He's still doing it. So, I don't think anybody was prepared for this level of violence. And at this point, it's violence. It's not just protest. It's violence. And it's absolutely unnecessary, and it is very unbecoming of the United States Capitol to have this kind of disruption on this campus.
Congresswoman, if you had a megaphone or a speaker, had a chance to talk to these protesters directly, what would you say to them right now?
I would tell them that the election is over. The president of these United States, who will be sworn in on the 20th of this month, has been duly elected by the people of this country, Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. And they need to accept their losses, and go home and make sure that they abide by the rules and regulations and be lawful. Because this is just, I've never seen anything like this. And I've been around a long time. I've been around for the 60s and even beyond. And so I'm just, I'm very sad about what's going on right now. I'm really sad about it.
Hey,
I hope that there's some opportunity for us to finish what we came over here today to do. But,
Congresswoman,
right now, you just can't tell what's happening.
Hey, Congresswoman Adams, this is Mike Dunstan, a colleague of Tim Boyum here. I have a quick question for you. So we are exactly 2 weeks away from January 20th, high noon, when we're going to have a new administration sworn in. What do you think should be the security protocols going forward? Because this doesn't seem like it's over. Congresswoman?
Well, clearly we're going to have to beef up the security. There's no doubt about that. So this gives us some indication that there's probably more to come. I hate to say it like that, but I think we have to be prepared. And I will tell you that we have some great professional men and women here who work here at this Capitol, who protect the members of Congress, and they will be prepared. Now, maybe we need to call in the National Guard. I don't know, but I think that they're going to do absolutely everything to make sure that those proceedings can go on as planned, that we can swear in the next president, the 46th sixth president of the United States of America, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But yeah, they're going to have to beef up security. I think certainly that's on the minds of everyone here now.
And Congresswoman, I know you're not a security expert, you're more of an educational expert, but Tim and I were talking before, and one thing about D.C. is that you have so many different police jurisdictions. You have Park Police, you have Capitol Police, the Uniformed Secret Service, you have Undercover Secret Service, you have Metropolitan Police, which is D.C. Police. I guess it's hard to tell what's going on right now in terms of coordination, but are you surprised that things weren't as coordinated, that it did get this out of hand? I mean, Rob Wu, one of our anchors, was showing video of that was on social media of people busting through windows in the Capitol. Why do you think it got this far?
Well, I don't know. Really, I really can't answer that, but I can tell you that the Capitol Police do an excellent job. The City of Washington do an excellent job, and of course they're over here as well. But I don't know about the coordination or anything like that. And I expect that there was some, but I don't know. But I will tell you, as we look down the next 2 weeks almost, I'm sure that there's going to be more discussion and collaboration about that. So I'm not criticizing them a bit.
Right. I guess
the job of getting us cleared out of there, and you expect when we have protests here on Capitol grounds, generally they're peaceful.
Right.
There are areas where people gather and they are allowed to speak and all that, because we do believe in free speech. I mean, that's a part of your constitutional right. So they don't try to prohibit that. This is why we allow visitors to come to the Capitol to visit these grounds, because this is the people's house. But these folks out here are very, very disruptive, and they come with that intent in mind. And I see that the president is tweeting out, "Be peaceful." Well, he should have been talking about that before. I'm watching him break these windows out right now. It's just terrible.
Well, yeah, and I guess sometimes some police officers will say it's better to have more restraint than just kind of go in and start, knocking people over. But this is just, you were like you said, it's terrible, it's unprecedented. Tim, over to you.
Well, I think what is potentially frightening is how easily they were able to get into the U.S. Capitol.
Right.
As we look at this. And Congressman, the president, by the way, about 10 minutes ago did tweet, "I'm asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful, no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you." Is that the message, Congresswoman, that the president needed to make?
He has never respected law and order. I can't say it. The words on the air, but it's BS. Figure that out. But I'm angry. I am upset, and this did not have to happen. It should not have happened. The president got this ball rolling. He gassed. He lit this thing up, and now he's coming out trying to look like he's a man of law and order. If he was a man of law and order, he would not have incited this riot from the very beginning. So he threw the torpedo out here. Now I'm sure he's getting criticized, so he's trying to look like he's an innocent bystander, but the hell he is not.
And Congressman, I'm sorry, please finish. I was just going to say, obviously the proceedings are still going to occur at some point, but I'm watching video of protesters scavenging through House members' desks. We have broken windows throughout the U.S. Capitol. It seems to me that nothing can occur of business within the U.S. Capitol probably for some time now.
Well, I think that was probably the president's intent. Like I said, he ought to be ashamed of himself. Go get him. Anybody else doing something like that, what would you do to him? I'm just, it's beyond appalling